Hey guys, so today's video is going to be a little different, and it's kind of me just passing on the message of Pokemon News channel about some of the ins and out of businesses and prismatic evolutions. So, for those of you who don't know, Pokemon is a pretty much growing YouTube channel. I see 32.5 thousand subscribers, and he pretty much built a lot of these up from the ground by doing a lot of the advertising himself and making videos, putting a lot of work. I think he's been around for years now, and then he he has a lot of stuff around him, and I think he houses it all in like his basements. um, but he is one of the people who gives you like some insights on how the business goes. um, and the reason why this is kind of relevant is sometimes they have like good insights, I'm sure, but you also get information that kind of makes the market make a little more sense if you otherwise didn't know. Because I think a lot of people start off with like they just see Pokemon cards on like the local gaming store, or they go to like Walmart or whatever, they see stuff, or they go online and they just go to TCG Player or eBay, and they don't really understand how like the market really moves and the supply and demand of things. And so this is just one of the videos that goes on that, and I think that this is a pretty important sort of informational video for sort of investing decisions and just kind of expectations of behavior in the future of what's going to happen in 2025. So as most of you know, prismatic evolution is going pretty crazy right now. Um, let's see if I can pull it up. It's pretty much double MSRP on TCG Player. Um, and what you'll see, which I won't have pulled up, is you'll see that a lot of sites have it at like much more than MSRP. Usually when the Pokemon market isn't as hot, you notice that you can usually get Pokemon products at a discount compared to the MSRP. For example, a booster box for Scarlet Violet sets is 160 or 61 or whatever, and then plus taxes. And for before the bull market, a lot of times you could get it at pre-release for like 100. A lot of times when you buy pre-release, you get it from like a local gaming store, what they're called, and they pretty much have a distributor, which they have a contract or whatever, and they say, hey, like I can buy wholesale for someone, and they resell the products. And that's how like a lot of when you go local like to a store in real life, like you go to a card store, a store dedicated for cards, like you'll just notice that they have all this product. That's usually where they get it from. Um, and it's been changing recently ever since like kind of surging sparks pretty much. Um, Surging sparks, like you could buy it like 100 pre-release, so like that was kind of normal. And then right now the booster box is like over 200. So and then so a lot of people, if they have surging sparks still, what they're doing is they're selling at the market price. They're not selling at MSRP, which is 160, or not. They'll give you a discounted price. And so I'm not gonna get into like the morals or whatever, because a lot of people say, hey, it's wrong to charge so much when you get at such a lower price or whatever. Um, and this is just sort of another take on it. So the reason why it matters, as far as when you're investing or collecting, is because it affects like the supply and the value of the products. And so a lot of local gaming stores, they go in a cycle where um, like they get products, and a lot of them go out of business. Like there's just like there's times when the Pokemon market's hot, like right now, and there's times when it's not hot. And the thing is that when you have a contract with the distributor, you have to keep buying product, or else you don't want to keep working with you. So a normal person who has no contract obligations, like they can just buy the sets that they like, or like if they get tired of Pokemon or think that Pokemon is going in a bad direction, they can stop buying. Right now, if you don't want to buy into Prismatic Evolutions because you think it's too expensive or you don't like the set or whatever, you don't have to buy right now. That's not really how it works with when you have a distributor access, though. You have to keep the ongoing relationship, and you're incentivized highly to spend a lot of money. Um, and what's happening right now with Prismatic is part of the reason why the price is so high is because the supply is lower. It's very lower. The demand is like too high for the supply. But another thing that people don't think about, or like I just heard about this kind of in the last few months or recently, it's like when the sets aren't as popular, um, a lot more product is getting concentrated into a smaller number of like people who can buy from wholesale. So like Pokey, like he said in his video, he's like the top. He gets like top 10 or top 15%. Like he's like, if you're one of the bigger buyers, you're just on that higher level priority. It's like, okay, I'm on this level of priority, so I expect to get more than the average store. And then he said that he only got so much to the point where if he sold all of it at around MSRP, which is, some stores, they're still saying MSRP because they don't want to get the backlash from customers who are selling more. He said he'd make like 8,000 to $12,000. And so like that sounds like a lot of money in some perspective. Um, but the thing is, like, it's kind of relative. It's kind of like you have to take the context into account. So the context is sort of like, okay, Pokemon only gets um, when you're a store like this, you make money by making a profit basically. So if you get booster box for $90 and you sell it for $10, I mean $100, you make $10. And sometimes there's fees and whatever which make it down so the margins are even less. Okay, but let's say like even if you ignore the fees, let's say like it's $10. So now how much you can stay in business is kind of dependent on selling at volume basically. Because $10 isn't a lot in some perspective in a sense. Like if you have rent to pay and bills to pay, then you have to like sell enough money to cover just your rent costs. Like if you have a store and let's say your rent is at least like a few $100s or whatever, you have to sell all those booster boxes to make up that money. And then you also, if you have employees, you have to pay those salaries. There's electricity. There's also even like, hey, your bank. You're also like not accounting for there's risk. Like if the products don't sell, then like you don't have enough money to like to rebuy more things. And I told you earlier that the way this works is that you have to keep buying for distributors, or else they don't want to work with you. So there's a lot of like if you had like infinite money, it'd be fine. But if you don't have infinite money, like and you want to grow faster, you kind of have to be a little more risky sometimes. And like if you only have like let's say $5,000, $10,000, and you spend all like what are you gonna do? You could spend all that, and you could try as much as you can, try to sell as much as you can. They call it churn and burn. Or you could like buy less, but then now your relationship with the distributor grows less, and you're not gonna grow as fast because you can't make as much profit. So in his case, like if he's what's happening right now is that since Pokemon's getting so popular, um, people are applying to distributors and they're basically thinning out the product. So let's say like these aren't real numbers, but it's just like a relative example. Let's say like 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 10,000 boxes of prismatic ETPs were made in general, and only usually like um 100 stores would buy from would like order some. So if you did it evenly, then like 10,000 divided by 100 is like 100 ETBs per store. So each store would on average get 10 ETB cases because I think an ETB case is 10 ETBs. So it's like okay, so you can now sell 10 ETBs. And let's say that's all the product that you get for like that cycle. And let's say there's not much other stuff available. So that's pretty much all you have to sell. And if that's all you have to sell, and let's say you're making like $10 per ETB if you sell MSRP, because that's like because like you do have to buy the product at some cost. So you do that, and you minus fees and whatever, you make $10, and so you made $1,000. And now you have to wait, and then that $1,000 has to last you until like the next cycle or whatever. And let's say your rent is a few $100s, I mentioned employees and whatever, then like that's cutting pretty into your profits, or you're barely making any money. And plus, like you're also working, so like you're not really paying yourself. You have to like you have your own personal bills and lively costs. So like obviously I told you that that was a totally fake example or whatever, but it's just sort of like what I'm hearing from Brian is basically like before this happened, like products didn't have as good profit margins, but you could still get products. So what you could do is that, like for example, booster boxes. A lot of booster boxes for Scarlet Violet were available a lot of the time, and so like that's a Brian. He literally has videos where he like said, "Oh, I invested like 25K in Paradox Rift just because I have money lying around and like there's nothing else to buy, so I'll just sell. Like I know it's gonna sell eventually." Um, but like a lot of the booster boxes are dried up, so like there's not a lot of other products to buy. And the prismatic stuff that he bought, he's like, yeah, I'm only making 8 to 12K. That only pays for so much. And I need other outlets um to pay my bills. And he's like, well, he's gonna be okay because his business is focused on cutting costs. Like he doesn't have a lot of employees and he doesn't have a lot of like rent costs or anything. So he's like very efficient. But a lot of stores like don't run that way. Like if you have a lease or something in like a big store or a mall or something, then you have to keep paying that lease. Like there's some costs for some people that are kind of like ongoing and whatnot. Um, so this is just pretty important. Like it's gonna affect the Pokemon market a lot when these stores can't as the product is thinned out a lot. And so like I'm not here to like give sort of an emotional sort of response to like oh like therefore they should raise prices or that's why like the price should be higher or no they should like go lower. No, I'm just saying like this is going like the product is clearly being thinned out and like I've seen it personally like you'll see Prismatic drop for different sites like every now and then, and it'll sell like instantly. And part of it's selling instantly, I think it's because there's so little product given to that store that like yeah like if you only put 100 like 100 Prismatic products up for sale, and everyone wants at least 5 or 10, then like even if you limit it to like one per person, like it's kind of supply and demand thing. If there's 1,000 people who know about your sale, they want to get on it, then like it's just gonna sell instantly. So um, yeah, I don't know all the implications of why this is gonna happen, but I'll link the video so you can hear explanation. It's probably a little better because it's only 6 minutes. But like I guess it's just something to keep in mind. Like we're in sort of a weird kind of situation in the Pokemon market, and just whether you're a collector or investor, like it's always helpful to be informed about these sort of things, because it'll just be easier to make decisions. Unless unless you just have a ton of money and you can just buy whatever card you want, because there's always gonna be stuff on TCG Player that you can just buy. But either way, like I hope you guys have a good day. I hope this is a short video and bye.